Hello, my name's David Rolfe and I'm the Food and Beverage Manager here for Next Hotels, which is part of the Silver Needle Hospitality Group. I've been doing hospitality now for just over 17 years. I started back in 2000. I left school and I had my plans set ready to study a communications degree specialising in advertising. In my final year of Year 12, I met a gentleman by the name of Simon Reynolds, and that was the component that sort of started my avenue and career journey sort of basically to where I am. I certainly believe in putting myself in the position of the next challenge, and every day there's another challenge that we're faced with here. We want to be a leader in the boutique hotel chain, but we also want to provide every single guest that stays in the hotel, every patron that comes through our food and beverage outlets with the best experience that they're not necessarily going to have somewhere else, but most importantly, have that human touch from us as staff. We want to be able to make that physical change by just a simple thing of a hello, but also being there and making sure that everything that we do is genuinely from our heart and genuine care for what we actually achieve. So here at Next, I do look after the food and beverage division. We'll have multiple hotels opening up soon. So between now and when they actually open up, who knows what I may do. But my career path is certainly down the path of executive management and senior leadership, which may lead to either our corporate office in Singapore or one of the other locations that ideally I'd like to live in, which is Hong Kong. Do I say that I still got the wet feet to live overseas? Yes. And that's more around making sure that I'm still learning from the people that I'm involved with each day, because I certainly believe that all the different cultures that you come in contact with, whether they be your staff or whether they be your guests, they'll impart something on you, and I'm certainly of belief that when I come back to Australia I can then impart everything that I've learned from all those different nationalities and ways back onto my teams, and that's certainly something that I do here at Next. I've certainly got my junior leaders pushing me to take on the next step, but as I say to them, you've got to be ready for that role, for my role when it's going to come, because I won't be here forever, and you've got to be showing our general manager that you're willing and capable to do my role, so that when it becomes available, we don't go, who do we get for the next role? It's, oh yes, David's ready for that position. It's his now for him.
So what main skills degrees, personality types would be a good point to touch on, suit this type of work?
So I have a couple of diplomas, and that's certainly a method in terms of what I feel our industry needs. So I have an advanced diploma of hospitality, diploma of management, and I've also got my certificate in frontline management and also training and assessment. So while I don't have a degree that's in hotel management, I've certainly got a number of other things that I feel are a little bit more warranted to the hospitality and certainly the food and beverage industry as a whole. When it comes to personalities, and this, I'll link back into degrees and diplomas, personality is everything that we do. It's all about the persona. Now, I can talk underwater, but I'm also very, very cheeky in terms of the way I come across to certain things. And I tell my team, especially my fellow colleagues, I can give you a script, I can give you this, I can give you that, but you need to round it off yourself and you need to put your own touches onto it. Because if you take what I say when I interact with guests, it's gonna come off the wrong way. Personalities are you. Your personality is different to mine versus the person next to me and so forth. But again, when we look at hospitality, it's about our interactions. It's about being attentive to the people that are around us, but without being intrusive to what goes on. People say, is hospitality or tourism industry, should they be people that are extroverted? And I say, look, that certainly helps. But just because somebody might be introverted doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to be the right person for us, because everybody's different. We have certainly diners and people that stay in the hotel that just want to sit over here by themselves, and sometimes our staff mirror that, versus having somebody that's extroverted that's going off like a bee in a tin can and so forth, that they interrupt what's actually going on when all somebody wants to do is sit down, have their coffee and have some time out.
Excellent. So what are the main reasons you'd recommend this career to others? Why should they come into hospitality?
Oh, look, I think if you look at me, I've lived in 11 different cities for my job, and I don't think that that this will be the last one that I live in. I think that hospitality as a whole and the tourism industry is always ever changing. When I first arrived, the way that it is today is certainly different to how it is when I first began, and it's certainly going to be different again in another 10 years' time. The fact that we interact with so many different people, it's ever changing. We pick up, we learn, we look at mistakes and we go, oh, we probably should have done that better. But everything's constantly changing. It's so invigorating to be able to come to work every day and go, okay, well, what's actually going to happen today? You simply don't know. So for somebody that is a little bit like me and doesn't like sitting still, the opportunities are endless. You can be working in Perth one year, you can be living in New York the next year, you can be in housekeeping one day, you can be a senior management managing the front office team, or you could be simply quite happy as a waiter in 20 years' time.
Excellent. So what advice would you give to students entering hospitality?
Look, this is where I'm going to pull out of the car park the diplomas and my formal training. One thing to be mindful of to students is don't ever think that you need to have this qualification at this certain time. You can walk into our industry with your heart on your sleeve and encouragement from yourself in wanting to be better and be the best person that you possibly can. That will probably take you further than spending 2 or 3 years when you first get out of school and jumping into university. I've currently got 3 of my team at the moment that what we're doing is we're doing diplomas throughout, and we're actually linking it back into their experience from the jobs that they're doing now. So they're getting formal qualifications by doing on-the-job training. And for me, you may not like our career, and why would you want to spend all that time in committing yourself to something that you're not passionate about? And again, when you look at what we do, you've got to be passionate about what we do. And I tend to get quite angry or upset with people that come into hospitality and they use it as a stopgap. It's the career that they have in between having their career. And during my interview processes, I say to everybody, I ask them the question, what are you doing? What are your plans? Oh, I'm studying on it. What are you studying? And sometimes I do need to cut those interviews short because I say to everybody on the first day, do not ruin my career for the sake of you having a short-term career with me. Because my career is all about hospitality, and I want every experience that you have or that you're going to have with our guests to be lasting. So don't necessarily think that you've got to have the formal qualifications just yet, because in 10 years' time, after you've travelled around the world and so forth and you decide to settle down, we can link all your past experience into finishing off a diploma or even a degree.
Just to confirm, so through employment at Next, they are getting
They're
diplomas.
getting diplomas, yeah.
Sponsored by you guys?
They are,
Excellent.
absolutely. That's part of their development, and we've highlighted some of those candidates that we feel will be our leaders of tomorrow. And rather than, we had one individual that said, I think I need to resign because I want to go off and study. We said, look, hold on, work with us, we'll put you through work, and the experience that you do here will actually hold you in good stead, and we'll be able to get you recognised for the experience and your day-to-day work that you're doing.
That's excellent. Lastly, how do you think students could be better encouraged to pursue a career in the industry? Oh, that's kind of similar to what you just said.
Look. To be honest, it's having a go, and that's probably the biggest thing and the biggest key. Go out to your school vet teacher and ask for work experience. During school holidays, approach an establishment and say, I'd like to get some work experience. Whether it's paid, whether it's not paid, you'll soon find out whether it's something that you like. I guess when you look at cookery students as well, those that want to become a chef, it's a long slog to become qualified and to be able to get the skill set to be a brilliant chef. But that doesn't necessarily mean that when you first start out that you're not going to be. Because as we all know, that some people start off as a kitchen hand, they wash the pots and so forth, which I can put my hand up, I can certainly say that I've done that, and even now the tie will be tucked into the shirt and the jacket will come off and the sleeves rolled up if we need to wash dishes. So for a 16, 17-year-old out there, don't think that if you're going to walk into an establishment, you're going to have the top-notch job. Even me as a department leader, I get in there and get my hands dirty. But come in, experience it, have a look around and see what you think, because again, we don't want to kill that passion just by coming in and throwing yourself in there and then not enjoying it. But sometimes you need to step in and have a look at a particular establishment and find out whether that's the right one for you.